Breaking news out of Los Angeles as a missing 22-year-old woman is found alive. The big question is, was she abducted? Did she run away? What went on there that she disappeared? The investigation took a very strange twist when police found out that Nancy Salas, who had gone off jogging and never returned, had been lying about attending UCLA for the last 2 years. Did she get scared and run off? And could the fact that her parents were throwing her a graduation party have been the trigger? Salas disappeared after allegedly going on a jog yesterday morning. When she didn't come home after several hours, her frantic dad started looking for her. Cops brought out search dogs and helicopters. They searched nearby Chevy Chase Canyon, where she normally jogs, but they turned up nothing. Then cops heard the news.
We learned from the UCLA Police Department that she has not been a student there since 2008. That certainly does put a crinkle in our investigation, and we have to reevaluate what we're looking at.
Police abruptly called off the ground search, and now we're hearing that Salas has been found alive in Merced, California, and she is healthy. Straight out to my fantastic panel, former criminal investigator Steve Cardian, psychiatrist Dr. Gail Saltz, in sessions Beth Karras, from our sister network, True TV, and Jason Wells, city editor for Glendale News Press, joins us on the phone. Jason, we begin with you. What is the very latest? What happened here?
Yeah, well, I'm on the scene here. It was a scene of jubilation after about 30 hours of worrying family. The police announced just a short time ago that Merced police did pick up Nancy Salas and that she was being held there. Glendale police detectives are on their way now to bring her back, where she will be reunited with her family later tonight.
Now, you have been following this story since it broke yesterday. They found out that she had not been attending university. She was supposedly a UCLA student, but there's something very strange about this because apparently people saw her go into the university and attend some classes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, despite UCLA officials being adamant that she was not enrolled since as far back as fall 2008, she had classmates telling us that they saw her in class and that they were willing to vouch for it. The disparity between those two stories is something that I think threw a lot of people off, especially when we started looking at her online life via Twitter and her blog. It just got a little bit stranger.
Why? What was online with the Twitter and the blog?
Well, in her on her private Twitter account, she posted things like on April 26th, she posted a tweet, prayers for Chelsea King and her family, and then a few minutes later, she posted, something feels very wrong, time to medicate on Matthew 6:25 through 27. That's a biblical passage that basically dealing with turmoil moving on. When I was out here this morning, I talked to her classmates, and they said that she was not an avid jogger. They don't know why she would have been jogging. She didn't have a certain route. So then that got us to thinking, she's setting up maybe this MO of, jogging, sending these tweets out, shout outs to Chelsea King's family, and it just seemed a little too odd.
Well, what you're pointing out is that Chelsea King is another tragedy in California that got a lot of publicity, and it wasn't so long ago. A beautiful young girl in Southern California, more toward the San Diego area, went jogging, and she was raped and murdered by John Gardner, who has since confessed to that case. It was a case that got a lot of publicity. So it sounds like what you're saying, Jason, is that there's a chance that she might have seen that story and thought, this is something I can sort of pretend happened to me. I'm going to go jogging, and then I'm not going to come back, and I will possibly be looked at as a Chelsea King.
Well, that's what a lot of people here were wondering, and the fact that, she had supposedly been telling her family that she was going to UCLA when, in fact, officials there say she wasn't, and her family was planning a graduation party for early June. With that deadline looming, I think, a lot of people are wondering if that may have been the trigger for this sort of erratic behavior. But those two very different stories, I think, are something that the police are going to have to reconcile. I think that's the next big headline out of the story.
Yep. Well, Dr. Gail Saltz, psychiatrist, boy, do we need you. What's your analysis of this?
Yes, well, unfortunately, it's not that bizarre story to have a child who perhaps feels that their family was counting on them to go to college, to finish, to be a certain kind of success, and maybe they find themselves in a situation where they can't manage it. You know, late teens, early 20s is a common time to frankly develop certain psychiatric problems or to feel overwhelmed and stressed and not be able to manage everything that's going on. And rather than, in certain families, go to them and say, I can't cut it, you know, a kid could develop basically a secret life, telling their family they're still doing what they're doing without the thought of what am I going to do in the future here? What am I going to, you know, when is this going to end and how am I going to tell everybody? They keep building a web of lies of this different life. And then as they're bringing up, you know, you're kind of trapped. You're going to have a graduation party and how's that going to go? But if this is what happened,
but what's so bizarre is that she went to the school. What's so bizarre about this is that she apparently went to the school and took some classes, even though she was no longer enrolled.
But
She had been
it's
going
not bizarre. It's not bizarre if you're trying to maintain a double life. You're trying to tell your family you still go there and your friends you still go there when you can't go there.
Glendale police say Merced police have Nancy Salas in custody. Here's what they had to say just a short time ago.
Nancy Salas has been located. She is live and well. She is in the custody of the Merced Police Department. At this particular time, we do not know what the circumstances are surrounding how she got there or why she ended up there. Our detectives have yet to talk to her. The most important thing is that she has been found alive and well.
All right, Beth Karras, what do you make of this? Could she be criminally charged?
I'm not sure she could be criminally charged. I would need to know more facts here. I thought it was interesting when they say she left her car, her keys behind. There was no mention about identification and wallets. And UCLA says she is not matriculated there, but I would want to know if she used any other names, any other surnames. Perhaps no Nancy Salas is matriculated there. So there's still a lot of questions that I have about this. But if indeed she wasn't matriculated, her parents may have wanted to go to her graduation ceremony. So this would have contributed, of course, to her anxiety.
Jason Wells, you were going to add something. You wanted to jump in.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, she was also described as being very active on campus. She's active at her local church, and she's active on Christian outreach ministries on campus there. So she's well known. So, I mean, that may have contributed also to her feeling pressured to go to class, even though she wasn't enrolled, just to maintain that side of things.
And I know people who go to class even if they're not enrolled. I've heard of that before. People who are interested in a subject in college, even though they're not going to get credit for it, have been known to go to class. So maybe she learned something despite the fact that she was being deceptive. In no uncertain terms, police made it clear that Salas should have let them know that she is okay.
There is some type of deception going on. I think the most important thing that I can say right now is if she's out there, hey, we have a lot of other things to do, number one. And number two, that if you're okay, at least let us know.
Obviously, that sound was from before they found her, and they were quite concerned. They were really frantic. Now, just last month, there was a mother and wife who ran off to Florida with her boyfriend. Tiffany Teehan's actions triggered a nationwide hunt until police found her at a Miami hotel. Teehan said she just wanted to start a new life. So this is something that we see, Gail Saltz, over and over again. It seems lately with women who just don't like where they're at in their life and decide maybe they've seen too many movies or read too many thriller novels that they're just going to take off and make it look like a disappearance.
You know, I think lots of women who are in a very, very stressful situation think about disappearing and starting a new life. That's not an unusual thought, to tell you the truth, but it is an unusual step to go the next step and actually try to do that. That is someone who is, you know, really suffering under either, you know, highly unusual, stressful situation or maybe has a psychiatric problem.
I just wonder, Jason, 10 seconds, do we know how they found her? Was she just sitting in a coffee shop or did she come forward and contact police?
They've remained numb on those counts, but the family did say that they didn't know why she would be there.
That's no place for her to be, 275 miles away from home. Thank you so much. Fantastic panel. A horrifying story.